In this video, I'm going to share with you one of the most profound discoveries I've made in the last decade that's completely transformed my sinus health and reduced the amount of sinus infections I have in any given year. How's it going, guys? This is Chris with HealthyConsumer.com, back with another episode of TGIF, Talking Gut Immuno Fridays, where we talk about gut health, sinus health, and improving your immune function through lifestyle choices. So if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, be sure to subscribe and hit the little bell so you never miss another video again. During grad school, I was suffering immensely. I had chronic sinus infections, usually up to 4 to 5 per year, and this was going on through my childhood and up into college as well. During that time in the 90s, it was normal for physicians to prescribe something like a round of antibiotics, like a Z-Pak, in order to help combat the sinus infection. And what we found now that typically that does more harm than good because we're creating these resistant organisms and we're also harming the gut, which ultimately harms our immune system as well. So we now know that in most cases, we need to reserve antibiotics for specific cases so we're not creating these antibiotic-resistant drugs. Anyways, back to the story. When I was going through grad school, I had a sinus infection that lasted for 8 months. I tried all the usual things that helped me, all types of natural cures and things, until I came across the method of pulsating sinus irrigation. And pulsating sinus irrigation, if you're not familiar, is like a neti pot on steroids. So a pulsating sinus irrigator is a little machine where you put a little nozzle up your nose and it gently pulses saline through one nose and out the other nostril. And I can't tell you, as disgusting as that may sound, if you've had any luck with a neti pot, you're likely to have 10 times as much luck with something like a pulsating sinus irrigator. There's certain cases where people shouldn't use them, like they have a deviated septum and some other contraindications. But for the most part, I found in my case that after using this thing for greater now than 7 years, I get less than 0 to 1 sinus infections per year, whereas before I was getting 4 to 5 sinus infections per year. So what is the difference here? I think of this now like basic hygiene because we're exposed to so many environmental pollutants and contaminants, things in the air that we're breathing in, whether it's just air pollution, whether you're in an area with a lot of molds. I want to wash those things out so they're not trapped in my airway. So I think of it like brushing my teeth. So a pulsating sinus irrigator takes the saline and goes in one nose, out the other, and then you can flush out a lot of contaminants and irritants. And I'll tell you, it's helped immensely. I've done an extended review on one of the machines called the Sinupulse, which I'll put a link in the description below. But if you're struggling with chronic sinus issues, I highly encourage you to check out something like a Sinupulse. But as I've said in some of my other videos, I've had to do a bunch of different things. I've worked on improving my gut health through taking in probiotic-rich foods and commercial probiotics and making my own probiotics. I've also started to experiment with nasal probiotics, which if you've been watching my channel, you'll see some of those videos as well. That's helped me as well to help balance out the microbiome in the sinus cavity, which is a whole new frontier that people haven't really explored yet. So if you're someone like me that's struggling with chronic sinus infections or seasonal allergies, check out something like a pulsating sinus irrigator. I may have an affiliate link for a pulsating sinus irrigator in the description below, the one that I found to be the most helpful. If you found this video helpful, please use that link. It doesn't cost you any more, and it helps just give a little bit back to me when I'm making these videos. I'd love to hear what's helped you the most in your sinus health, whether it's from sinus infections or reducing seasonal allergies. Tell me in the comments below. I'd love to learn from you and learn together so we can better help the world with these chronic sinus problems. This has been another episode of TGIF. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and hit the little bell so you never miss another video again. I look forward to seeing you next Friday.